What is up, YouTube? What is up, Canada? Matt McKeever here. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the federal budget and the government wanting your perspective and your input on how they should be spending your hard-earned tax dollars. So I'm really excited to discuss today's subject matter because I think it's something that a lot of us could easily overlook during all the crazy COVID-ness, the lockdowns, the quarantines, all that stuff. So real quick, just if you're watching this, whether it's live or on the replay, I want you to know that you've got until February 19th to complete this survey. I really hope you guys do take advantage of this survey because the government's going to spend our money one way or the other. We might as well at least tell them how we think it should be spent. So in today's video, we're actually going to be talking about the Let's Talk Budget 2021 survey process. So essentially, the government's asking, what investment do you think would best create jobs and grow the Canadian economy? Which measures would you use to determine if Canada's economy is recovering from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as would you like a say in what's focused upon in the 2021 budget? So there's links in the video description down below to everything we're going to talk about today. I really do want you guys to go and fill out this survey because we should definitely be making sure our voices are heard in regards to how the government's going to spend the 2021 budget. So Government of Canada is turning to its citizens for input for the 2021 budget process. And so from now until February 19th, Canadians are encouraged to go visit LetsTalkBudget2021.ca. Link in the video description down below. I really hope everyone that watches this, usually we at least get 500 to 1,000 views on these in the first 24 hours. I hope all 500 or 1,000 of you will actually go and fill this out because, hey, maybe we'll actually have a little influence here. Maybe this could be our version of Wall Street bets or something like that. So here people are encouraged to share their ideas and priorities for how the government can make investments and grow the economy. Opinions can be expressed through the completion of a quick questionnaire or by submitting a letter or paper. Please at least fill out the questionnaire. That's what I'm asking. I'm not necessarily expecting you to send your, monetary or economic thesis to the government, but if you do, props to you. So again, it's explained on the website that when Canada has COVID-19 under control, the goal will be to make smart, targeted investments that jumpstart the country's economic recovery and begin to repair the damage done by the pandemic. And feedback submitted through the Let's Talk Budget 2021.ca will be shared with the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. Bonus points if you can name the Deputy Prime Minister. Do it right now in the chat, I dare you. The Minister of Middle Class Prosperity and Association Minister of Finance. Did you know we've got the Minister of Middle Class Prosperity? That actually sounds like something from like 1984 shit there. The Minister of Middle Class Prosperity. We're focused on making sure the middle class is prosperous, I guess. That's fascinating, actually. I had no idea. The Parliamentary Secretary and departmental officials, as well as the ideas and concepts shared by Canadians, will be considered alongside the research completed by economists at the Department of Finance. So additionally, the Government of Canada will also partake in virtual roundtables with diverse groups of people from a range of regions, sectors, and industries, including these hardest hit by the pandemic. And remarked Mona Fortier, Minister of the Middle Class Prosperity. Hey, Mona, I learned your name and your job today. Minister of the Middle Class Prosperity and Associate Minister of Finance. Our government's top priority remains supporting workers and businesses and protecting the health and well-being of all Canadians. As we prepare our upcoming budget, our government wants to hear from you. Over the coming weeks, we will be listening to your ideas about how the government can support clean economic growth, create good jobs, improve Canadians' quality of life, and ensure our recovery is inclusive and progressive for the middle class. Whew, there's a lot of buzzwords in that last part of that sentence. Anyways, I look forward to hearing directly from you, she said. So let's actually take a closer look at what this questionnaire is about. So firstly, it's rather concise and doesn't require a ton of time. You should be able to do this in like 5-10 minutes. In fact, we're going to cover half the questions on the questionnaire, literally just talking about it. So again, there's a link in the video description down below. I'd love for everyone that's watching this, go please fill out that questionnaire. Give the government your input. Again, they're going to spend your money either way. You might as well at least get a say. So, others that really want to go the extra mile, you can actually submit that written answer or opinion. And these are followed by a series of questions that'll best help the Government of Canada understand the demographic of a respondent. So let's step through one question at a time, or at least we'll try and cover a handful of the questions. So again, quick reminder before we get into the questions, or actually, no, let's actually just jump into question number one. Question number 1, what investment do you think would best create jobs and grow the economy? And you're allowed to select 3 choices here. So I'm actually going to read off all of them on this question, but we won't cover all the questions. I won't bore you to death. But help Canadians train for new opportunities, invest in early learning and childcare, invest in communities through public transit, affordable housing, and green infrastructure. For young people worried about entering a weak job market, increase support through apprenticeship opportunities, co-op placements, and internships. Invest in technologies to accelerate Canada's green transformation. Help small businesses grow by making it easier to get loans. Invest to regain jobs in industries hardest hit by the pandemic, hospitality, tourism, arts, and culture, for example. Support small and medium-sized businesses to adopt digital technologies and be more competitive. Invest in broadband to improve Canadians' access to high-speed internet, or other. So again, there's a wild range of things there. I don't know, man. There's none that leap off the page to me. Definitely help small businesses grow by making it easier to get loans. That's something where the government's not really going to be picking favorites. If I was talking about my personal philosophy when it comes to government investment, I'd probably be leaning towards that. It's a by far less intrusive approach than a lot of the other things that they mentioned here. I really hate when the government picks individual industries for winners or losers, as well as even hate it more when they pick individual businesses. Question number 2 is, which of the following measures would you use to determine if Canada's economy is recovering from the effects of COVID-19? And so they cover things like employment rates, GDP growth, the value of the Canadian dollar, when anecdotally other people go back to work, things like that. Question number 3 is, once the COVID-19 virus is under control, how do you think the government can help drive Canadian innovation to spur new jobs and growth in our economy? And so essentially then they list a bunch of other options, domestic manufacturing, scientific research, helping companies enter new markets or get access to new markets, improving access and affordability of high-speed internet again comes up. Definitely seems like there's potentially going to be some spending in the internet infrastructure realm. Kind of makes sense to me. I can totally see why that would play out. And question number 4 is, what are the most important ways the government of Canada can help ensure an inclusive recovery that leaves no Canadian behind? It's shit like that. I understand that this is all well intended, but shouldn't we just be trying to help Canadians? It's just weird when you have to go out of your way to say inclusive. And then, some of the options here are support for LGBTQ2 Canadians. I actually don't know what the 2 is. Let me know in the comments. What is the 2 on LGBTQ2? I didn't even know there was a number involved now. So again, I totally get the intentions here. I don't even have issues with it, but I get scared when I see the government focusing too much on inclusiveness rather than just solutions that are going to help the general economy. Question number 5 is, what are your top priorities for budget 2021? And you can select up to 3. Things like affordable housing, immigration, refugee policy come up, improving healthcare, protecting the environment, helping cities and rural communities thrive. And some of these things are pretty broad, right? What does that even mean? Helping cities and rural communities thrive. I'm curious. It sounds like a good thing. It sounds better than not thriving, but I'm not sure if I actually understand how you're going to spend my money. And then, there's a bunch of other options there. There's actually a lot of options. Question number 6 is, if you were designing the federal budget, what would you like to see to help create jobs and grow Canada's economy? And people are asked to write out their response here instead of checking boxes. I know what I'd write out: tax cuts. I know what's not going to happen: tax cuts. Question number 7 is, when we are able to safely reopen the economy and COVID-19 is under control, what is one idea you have for how the federal government can help you or your community? It's also really interesting, the leadiness behind a lot of these questions, because if we notice multiple times these questions start, when COVID-19 is under control. And so I really feel like they're framing that this is going to take a while to get under control. We're going to have a story coming up in the future on what's going on with vaccines. But if you guys are paying attention, it looks like the EU is about to ban vaccine exports quite possibly for a while. And it looks like Canada's probably going to fall short on our vaccines. It seems like we are going to be looking for domestic suppliers, but that seems like its own we'll get into that in a whole other story. But the reason I bring this up is I do have concerns that this is going to be a longer, more drawn out process than a lot of you at home are thinking. And understand that it seems like the government's framing that a lot of their programs and surplus isn't going to come out until after COVID-19 is under control. So just be aware of that. So hopefully you can survive until it's under control. Question number 8, which of the following is the biggest financial concern for you or your family? So it goes through a lot of the things, car payments, saving for retirement, cell phone and internet bills, credit card debt, student debt, grocery bills, rent or mortgage costs, things of that nature. Question number 9 is, which of the following best describes the impact the COVID-19 pandemic has had on your employment and earnings? Select all that apply. And then finally, questions 10 through 14 are demographic related and need to be checked off before submitting the questionnaire. And this is just so the government can have a little bit of perspective about who you are, because they want to make sure they're inclusive. And the only way we can be inclusive is if we know exactly who you are, so we know what box to put you in. That's how this shit works. It'd be hell if we didn't know exactly who you were, because anyways, that's enough of that. So in conclusion, although it'll be tough to really see whether or not your response will be properly reflected in the final version of the budget, I think it really is still important to at least try and get your voice heard. So I'm going to implore you at least one more time right now. Click the link in the video description down below. Make your voice heard. Fill out this 10 question questionnaire. You've got the time. You're sitting at home right now. Might as well make your voice heard and share your economic thoughts and policy with the government. As well, at the very least, participating in the questionnaire will help you better understand what the government is kind of considering important based upon the questions that they're asking us. As well, you don't have to be an expert in order to be able to answer these questions. A lot of them really are just based upon your personal perspective and situation, and the government's just looking for your feedback and input. So again, really encourage you guys, take the time, do this before February 19th. Let's talk budget 2021, and we've got a link in the video description down below. Would love you guys to actually take the time to go fill this out, and appreciate everyone that's commenting on this video and all the live videos that we're doing every weekday here. Because a reminder, we're doing this as an experiment for 1 month, and we're actually 50% of the way through that month already. So we've got 15 days left of doing these videos before we take a look at this experiment. So understand, literally, you liking the like button on this video and future videos or past videos, you sharing it once or twice on social media, could be the difference between this show surviving and this show not thriving, as the Canadian government would say. So again, really appreciate everyone that's commenting. Crystal's constantly in the comments every day. We've got Amog, we've got Joe J. Appreciate everyone that's commenting, and really appreciate those of you that share your comments and opinions after these videos air as well. If you guys didn't know, there's actually some really intelligent followers of my YouTube channel, and they're sharing their opinions every single day in that comment section. I'm actually getting great value, and I love the anecdotal stories that they're sharing in the comment section as well. So yesterday we had someone commenting from the Okanagan Valley and discussing the net migration they're seeing to their small community from Vancouver, as well as people were talking about the flight from Vancouver to North Vancouver. Lots of little input and insights that you can really gain if you do this well enough, a competitive advantage by just gathering all these data points. I really consider myself, one of my competitive advantages is just really being able to look at the data, build a narrative from it, come to a conclusion, or interpret that data into intelligence, come to a conclusion, and then take action upon it. So again, really appreciate when you guys share your perspective, share your experiences in the comments, whether it's live or after the fact. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash the like button. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And we're going to have one more live video where we're going to be talking about, actually, I don't know. It's been a busy day. I forget what I'm talking about, but stay tuned.